There are some places on Earth that are secluded pockets of life, where Darwin's theory of evolution and adaptation can be clearly seen. Isolated islands in the middle of the ocean are best to understand his theory, and one of Australia's most unique islands for nature is Christmas Island. Christmas Island is the tip of a volcanic mountain. Born from an eruption 60 million years ago, it has created an island at the end of the Java Trench that rises from 3,000 metres of seawater. But it's the nature of this island that makes it so special, with some of the species here found nowhere else on our entire planet, and incredible marine life that just cruises this shoreline. It is one of the most isolated territories in Australia, and if you're a nature lover, this is your paradise. Located just 360 kilometres from Java, it's more reminiscent of Asia than it is Australia. The island itself is shaped like a little Scottish terrier, 19 kilometres at its greatest length and 14.5 kilometres in breadth. The population of about 1,500 people is very multicultural, mainly Chinese, Europeans and Malay people. The main settlement is at Flying Fish Cove, a place where industry and island life meet. Over millions of years, the jungle has grown all the way to the shoreline, and this environment that blends jungle and the marine environment has created a very unusual natural phenomenon. We've arrived at Christmas Island just in time to coincide with the only red crab migration in the entire world. This road is closed, but to us, that's brilliant news because that means these guys are absolutely everywhere. Now, trying to manage 60 million of these guys is no easy task, but part of what they do is put these barriers up to try and discourage these crabs from getting on the roads where people are driving. And then they close the other roads so the crabs can go through the areas that are closed. With motor cars being the main mode of transport, the local school kids design art to encourage everyone to slow down. To learn more about the different phases of the crab migration, I joined Chris Boland from National Parks. So talk me through the life of a red crab.
For the first 3 years, they sort of migrate gradually further inland until they're ready to breed at about 4 years of age. And from that day on until they're about 25 years old, we think is the age in which they die. So every year, the males migrate down to the coast at the beginning of the first rains of the wet season. They dig a mating burrow. They go to the water and dip and replenish their fluids and make themselves pretty. And then the females come down. And the females select a male based on probably his body size, maybe some other characteristics, muscles, God help us, and how neat his burrow is. He's got to have a nice tidy home.
New age crabs.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they set the bar high. It's pretty hard act to follow. And so then the females come in, they mate face to face, which is quite nice. And then the females go underground into their little burrows that you can see everywhere here. Every 30 centimetres is a crab burrow. And then the females develop these eggs, 100,000 eggs. She waits for about 14 or 15 days. And then 1 week after the new moon, the females go down to the shoreline, right to the very edge of the water, and they release their eggs.
We're heading to the Dales, which is one of the areas that you see these migrating crabs in mass. And it's quite hilarious because we're just driving down the rainforest road and we have Linda outside literally sweeping the crabs away. I don't think there are too many places in the world that this happens. You right, Linda? Yeah. So the crabs are thinning out, so we might be able to actually get to where we want to go. We've made it to the Dales, and I hear this is one of the most beautiful places on the entire island. It's also a place where you can probably see some other species of crabs as well. Is that right, Linda?
Certainly is.
All right. The forest floor is really soft, with burrows everywhere, so it's best to stay on track. The red crabs share this island with about 20 other species of crabs, including the blue crabs and the island's largest crab, known as the robber crab. It's so nice. We've just turned down the track toward the waterfall, and you can just feel how cool it is in here with the rainforest. We've made it to the waterfall. Look at this, it's so pretty. Oh, look! No wonder the crabs absolutely love it here. It's like a little paradise. It's beautiful. So, Chris, this is an amazing national park. How important is it?
Oh, it's extremely important. On an international level, it's worldwide famous. It's got an extraordinary array of endemic species, that are species that only occur here and nowhere else in the world. 63% of the island is national park, which is fantastic for a tropical island. And it's incredibly unique. I mean, I can't think of any other island in the world where the natural forest ecosystem is to be bare underneath with red crabs everywhere and then these tall emergent trees.
And the reason it looks so clear all around us is because of these guys, the little red crabs that live here?
Yeah, we've got 50 million gardeners pulling out all of the seeds and weeds for us. So every day, all day, they pick up little bits of seeds, little bits of shoots. So it's very lucky for a plant to survive. This is why we get this beautiful system here.
What you see above is just a fraction of this island's geography. This seamount drops 3,000 metres underwater, and that's why we go diving, because you never know what you might see, from mighty pelagics, deep water drop-offs and stunning coral gardens. See you underwater! Dropping into the Indian Ocean, you never really know what you can expect. Diving around the summit of an underwater mountain means that at least part of any dive will be over or along a wall. In the drier months, the visibility can be gin clear, and you almost feel like you're flying in a liquid realm. Some of the walls are decorated in soft corals, sea whips, and fans, adding colour and life to the steep limestone walls that plummet below. Dancing fusiliers hug the top of the vertical drop, while pelagic fish roam in the deep blue water. There is a sense of freedom underwater, and diving allows you to open your eyes to such a different world, where we're simply only visitors. Here I love watching the small fish, like anemone fish, who have their own place in such a large ocean. Then being surrounded by schools of fish, like the friendly batfish, who seem to have an attraction to my fins. But once they've stopped following you around, they drop into a cleaning station where the delightful little cleaner ass give them a makeover so they feel fresh and clean. The majority of corals here are hard plate corals, and along coral pinnacles known as bommies. All these structures attract marine life in an otherwise deep ocean environment. This small island is an oasis for so many marine species. But one of the most interesting aspects are the underwater caves that run through and beneath the island. Some of these caves can be accessed on land, but for divers, the chance to visit Thundercliff Cave is a must. You make your way down to the cave entrance that then meanders back and under the island. You follow the cave walls past the fish and spectacular crevices before it shallows, and you surface for the second phase of the journey. A short walk then takes you to an isolated pool of water that once again disappears further under the island. This experience just reinforces how this island was formed and how over time it can create these wonderlands that we are able to explore. The edge of the island is always a haven for birds that patrol the waters for their food, keeping their eyes on the action. I heard of a place where they ride the strong wind currents that blow from the ocean and along the mountains toward the sky. It's appropriately called Phosphate Hill. So cool. I'm just looking over all the beautiful rainforest and coastline and doing a little bit of bird watching, which is perfect to do here at Christmas Island because there are so many amazing species of birds. You get whole flocks of frigate birds that catch the wind current here and they go whooshka right up to the top of the hill. If you're really lucky, you'll also see a few booby birds. And if you're very lucky, you may even get to spot the golden bosun, which is a very rare bird, endemic only to Christmas Island. Now that's got to be the prettiest bird I've ever seen in my life.
It's my favourite Christmas Island bird. No disrespect to all the other Christmas Island birds, but it's magnificent. It's actually a white-tailed tropic bird, which you get in a lot of different places in the world. But here we've got a golden version of it, which only occurs here. It doesn't occur anywhere else.
In the afternoons, some of the best bird watching happens when the birds return from fishing at sea to take up their positions where they'll sleep in the rainforest canopy. I just had a booby bird almost land on my head. He's just sitting in the tree right up there and he's got his little red feet sticking up or sticking out. But this island is not just for the seabirds. It also has rainforest species, like the beautiful emerald dove, the imperial pigeon, and the feisty Christmas Island thrush. But all these bird species require a stable jungle and marine environment. In 1855, 5 Dutch castaways were marooned somewhere on Christmas Island. Now, they said it was a beautiful white sandy beach with fresh running water. Seeing Dolly Beach has the only supply of fresh water that runs all year round, then this is probably where they got marooned. But if I was a castaway and I had my pick of beaches on Christmas Island, I would look around here and go, well, at least I got thousands of coconuts to eat, and I guess I have the odd crab or two. As we sped across the blue spinner dolphins and got a taste of exactly why these guys are called spinners. They also seem to have something else on their agenda. There's something over there splashing. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely some action going on. A rare encounter with the larger bottlenose dolphins unfolded. Well done. Working with marine animals, I've learned that if you were to experience interaction rather than just a fleeting or passing look, you must let the encounter happen on the dolphin's terms. I definitely let them know I was keen for a chat. And they were very happy to come and check me out. Dolphins are very intelligent and examine you by using sonar. Their sonar paints a picture, and I could feel the dolphin's echolocation all over my body. Dolphins play with us. They're the big bottlenose dolphins, and they surrounded us. But it was just magic. They came up in front of us and they breathed in front of us and they just wanted to play. And apparently that's very rare here, so we're pretty lucky. Good start to the day. The surrounding waters are filled with pelagic predators, and we drummed up a few more fishy friends. Silky sharks respond to surface action. In no time, we were surrounded by curious eyes watching our every move. But the massive crab migration and spawning event sparks another annual migration undertaken by the biggest fish in the sea. Some of the whalesharks that visit Ningaloo Reef off Australia's west coast in the winter months embark on a journey to Christmas Island in the summer. No matter how many times I swim with ocean giants, the first contact is always an exhilarating moment. Whalesharks can grow over 12 metres in length, but they are filter feeders and gentle giants. They're fairly slow-moving for their size and covered in white dots that help them blend into their surrounding. They have tiny eyes, which seem a little out of proportion for such a large fish. Usually, they're encountered when they come to the surface, as when they go deep, they disappear into the abyss. Whalesharks inhabit just about all warm tropical seas, but it's the spawning of the crabs that bring them here to feast on hundreds of millions of red crab larvae. It must be a whaleshark delicacy. I am on the beautiful Ethel Beach, and this is where tomorrow the red crabs are tipped to spawn. Now, this migration is one of the incredible world wonders, and judging by the way that these guys are starting to gather, I reckon we're in for a pretty good treat. I've seen some amazing wildlife encounters all around the world, but I have to say, this has to be up there with the absolute best. What started off with a few crabs, then built to quite a lot of crabs, and then it built to many crabs, and now it is literally Crab City. They're coming out of the jungle, they're coming down the cliffs, they're coming along the beaches, and they're going into the water where hopefully tomorrow they may spawn. Now, these crabs are just building up in numbers, and they have to soak their eggs a number of times so they're soft enough to release. So what we have here is crabs in waiting. All these are female crabs, and under their little carapace is 100,000 eggs that they are going to release into the water. This is just incredible. They're all trying for wall space right now. So tomorrow morning at 4 a.m, that means they've got to get up bright and early, they will come down to the water and release their eggs. But I have to say, I've seen some incredible things, but nothing like the march of the red crabs here on Christmas Island. We've arrived here at Ethel Beach and it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and there's a lot more crabs than there were yesterday, so it's looking good. We might get our spawning this morning. You can never predict nature, so you've just got to go with the flow. It's 4:30 a.m. in the morning and I am literally in a sea of crabs. These females have come down from the jungle onto the beaches and have now started their spawning. And the sea has turned black. Now what they do is when they get to the water, they do a little spawning dance. They put their little nippers up in the air, they jiggle them about and they wiggle their bellies so all the eggs fall out into the ocean. But you should see this place. It has to be seen to be believed. We can barely move because we have crabs from one stretch of the beach right down to the other and all the way out in this shallow reef plateau that we have here as well. It's the perfect tide, it's what they've been waiting for, and they are going off. I've got a hitchhiker. In fact, I've got a couple. They think I'm a rock now. Once you sit down for long enough, they just come around and they think you're a rock. That was absolutely amazing.
Isn't that incredible?
Have you ever seen it that good?
No, absolutely not. And the people who've been here for 10 years said it's the best one they've seen as well. So that was a really good morning for crabs.
How lucky we.
I know.
Now, what are these girls still doing out here?
Well, it looks to me like they've come out here, almost all of them have shaken off their eggs, and they're probably going to sit here, have a bit of a rest, and then wait for the tide to go out and walk a bit more safely across this area.
She's still got eggs.
I know, she does too. So she's probably going to wait it out until tomorrow morning. There's a few on the sand still, maybe 10% of them have still got eggs as well. So another day of spawning tomorrow.
So do you think there'll be whalesharks sitting out there
Oh
today?
yes, absolutely. There'll be whalesharks all around the island hoovering up those babies. These crabs, this is one of the reasons why it's so important that we protect them, is because they provide food to nourish the reef. They nourish the whalesharks and a number of other fish on this island.
Do the crab dance.
Christmas Island is an amazing place. Where else can you swim with dolphins and whalesharks 1 minute and the next be watching the red crabs marching in their millions to release their eggs into the sea? Many of these species have taken millions of years to evolve, but they can be easily lost. We must make every effort to ensure wildlife has a place on our planet, and special places like Christmas Island remain protected. Our Our world is full of natural wonders, so remember to travel lightly and